A very good afternoon, good morning, welcome to the session. Hello, Osho, good to see you. Hi, Patrick, hope you're well. Oh, let me just turn my video on. There we go. Quick heads up, I have a CNBC Arabia interview at 2:15. So I'll quickly run through the opening and then I'll be dropping off, then coming back later. In case it doesn't work, this webinar, when we come back to it, use this link here for after my interview. The interview is usually about 10-15 minutes. So I hope to be back before the open, but we'll have a quick look and see what's going on. So the big news at the moment is that there's been some shutdown resolution boost with signs of partisan progress towards ending the US government shutdown. That's just reducing political uncertainty and opens the way now for the release of US economic data. That's what's been lifting sentiment, and you can see immediately came in late on Friday. If you just take a look here at equity markets, you can see lovely reversals across US equity futures and European futures. And that's just on the sentiment that finally the shutdown will be over. And with third quarter profits rising at their fastest pace in 4 years, UBS, Morgan Stanley, they were revising up their S&P 500 forecasts. Corporate fundamentals just reinforcing the rally narrative. Even AI and tech leaders, even though there's valuation fragility. So sentiment is positive. There are concerns that persist about stretched tech valuations. Then we had the softening consumer confidence, didn't we, on Friday, if you remember? This weak print that came in, worrying markets a little bit. We saw a little bit downside in the S&P 500, and we remember taking those shorts late on Friday based on that negative sentiment. All retraced and recovered. You can see here that deep dip was just bought, and that's really where sentiment is at the moment. So AI uncertainty remains and data uncertainty remains. So if US economic data as it's released starts to show a weakness, we could see a little bit more downside in equity markets. Just be aware of that. Hey Najam, just to be aware, I have to drop off in a few minutes for a CNBC interview, but I've put a link up there in case you can't get back into this meeting afterwards. Okay. A couple of trades that I took at the open was FTSE 100, great little trade here. This is a really good example of a trending market. Look at this on the monthly. You see higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows on the monthly, weekly, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Look at the daily. And look at what we had here. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And then what you've got here is a false breaker, a Harami inside bar. So that was a great trade just to take at the open. Running into resistance at the moment, looking to break above that. And ultimately, I'm seeing if I can target maybe up to that 9944. So that's what I'm looking at in the FTSE 100. The DAX I have re-entered. I was originally long with this bullish engulfing bar, had stops running under 23633, this kind of region here, 23600-ish. Taken out on that, but look, we've now got a false break of an inside bar from a support level. So took that at the long from the European Open. You look at it on the weekly chart, you can see did get that false break of that inside bar in the end above this decent support level. So support becomes previous resistance becomes support, breakout, support, 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 and at that support level, look what we've got is a nice hammer reversal bar. First kind of target area for me is up for that potential trend line retest around the 24100 region. So I'm bullish on equity markets to start the week. This positive sentiment is just a wash. US Senate voted 60-40 to advance the government funding bill through the procedural hurdle, and that's sort of lifting sentiment. And you can see risk is on. Bid into bonds. There's a strong move in commodity markets. Copper finding buyers again. Silver finding buyers. Nice retest of that 4730 region. Nice to see. And sentiment is positive. Now, going into the session, let's just have a look what we've got in terms of economic data. We still haven't got US economic data out, so it's pretty weak in terms of data. The Fed speak, just having a quick look here, got Muslim at 2:30 and daily at 1:30 has already spoken. Let's see what daily was saying. Daily saying inflation is pretty contained in goods prices. So really, once the US shutdown ends, then it's all focus on labor and inflation data out of the US. So for now, we just gotta wait and see what happens. So looking sentiment, it is positive. So we're looking for opportunities to buy into this market. We've got to find good areas. So looking at the ES, you can see, I think that's a gap to start the session. So you've got that nice fair value gap. So this gap here at the open, that's a great area to buy in from.
Just a bit more reports from India. According to TV reports, high alert has been issued in Indian capital Delhi after the earlier explosion. I've still got no further details.
Okay. Just keep an eye on what's going on in Delhi. Could have geopolitical consequences. This area here is great for potential buying.
And for the Banksco watchers,
so keep an eye on that.
Governor sees rate cuts of 25 basis points in December as, quote, highly likely, according to an interview in El Financiero.
It's the time price opportunity for the week.
Just for reference, their last rate announcement, they did cut rates, but it was in a 4-1 decision.
So last week got that value area low. So this is a lovely area for buying in from here and a potential retest of that area. So watch out for this area for buyers. I'm not sure we're going to get down there, but that's a nice area to be looking at. Then on the 15th for the daily time price opportunity, let's just change this for the day. We're holding above that value area high, got that point of control sat down in this region. So looking at this, I'll tell you the area that I do quite like is return to that VWAP. Looking at the hourly chart, see all those strong buyers came in down here, and you got a lot of serious sellers that are trapped from this point here. So a lot of serious sellers trapped there, which means that that VWAP point of control looks very, very interesting for buying in. You also have some sellers trapped in here. So the 6,800 region looks great for buying in. Looking here about the 6,804, that's a nice area. 15-minute, you can see here all those buyers coming up strongly from this region. Sellers trapped here, but any retracement back down to, even if there's a swing point here, I think it would be worth looking at. Anything here, anything about 6,803, 6,804, that makes sense for buying in. Aside from that, I'm just going to wait and see what we get and see if price keeps moving higher. So I want to have another look at this from a price action perspective. Just want to see whether, so now we've got an attempt at a breakout, haven't we, of that level here. Yeah, so we're trying to hold above this level, this trend line break.
Cash equity open in around 20 minutes time.
And the 200 exponential moving average.
We'll be doing our usual equity rundown.
Okay, so we are in a decent area here, and that's the daily value area high. So holding above this level, or a little dip at the open and then buying makes sense. So a little dip, then seeing sellers trapped, and then going long. That's my bias. I want to go long. I think that's the mood of the day, and I just want to make sure that I've got some confirmation behind me if and when I do go long. So that's my take. That's my rundown.